What is up, party people? Oh my goodness, it's so bright in here. We don't need to be this bright. Cat's Cows says your engagement gift got delivered today. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. That's a little bit less bright, I suppose. Thank you so much for sending us something. That's so sweet. I'm very excited to open it. I'm seeing lots of people in the chat being like, 2 days in a row. Yes, 2 days in a row. Effie says, another stream. You're spoiling us. On my birthday too. Oh my god. Happy birthday, Effie. I hope you have the best day ever. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad I've got a face to the name. I'm so glad I was able to see you in person, give you a hug. And oh my goodness, you're just such an incredible person. I'm so glad to have you in this community. I'm so thankful for everything you've done for this channel and for me and for Stitch, and I just hope that you have an incredible day and feel celebrated. I feel like you're always celebrating other people, but today I'm definitely celebrating you. Everybody say happy birthday to Effie in the chat. That is awesome. Kate says, today I was playing Borderlands 2 with my guy friend and I had trouble finding the crit spot, so he said, oh, you can't find the critter is? Don't worry, most people can't. Oh my gosh. That's funny. Kate says, I'm tuning in from my balcony because I haven't gone out in 3 days. Oh my goodness. Are you feeling any better, Kate? Dree has been a member for 3 months. Thank you so much, Dree. I finally made it to a stream. We went from 2 jobs to 3. Oh my goodness. I'm going insane. I bet. Congrats on your engagement. Oh, thank you. I haven't caught a stream since the con. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we are here. We are engaged. It is the best. Quinn says, you're looking very cute and comfy today. Oh, thank you. Yes, I love this cardigan. It was a little cold earlier, but now it's kind of hot. It's all over the place. Kenzie, I hope you're having a better day today than you did yesterday. Whoa, it was not a really good day, but better than yesterday. Oh, good. Walking to the train and gonna write my story. Nice, that's awesome, Kenzie. I read the synopsis. I didn't read the pages yet, but that sounds really cool. That sounds really fucking awesome. And thank you so much for sending a donation as well. I hope that you have no problems on the train today. Goodness gracious. Oh my god, Forgetting Envy says, there's this lesbian on my new job that looks exactly like you. Do you have any cousins in Sweden? No, I don't. That's so funny though. Super Natastic says, oh my god, I just realized you have Macachin tissue box cover. Yes, yeah, Stitch got me that like so many years ago. I think maybe even for my birthday. Maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah. I love it. There are no tissues in it currently. Oh, Frostfire says, I haven't been able to watch yesterday's stream yet. Can anyone give a quick recap? If someone would like to post their recap in the chat, I would love that. From what I remember, we got Shen Zhou's backstory. So like the original flavor, Shen Qingqiu, from the book, which Airplane never actually put in the book because he didn't want people to sympathize with him. And we basically found out that it's still a little bit ambiguous, but it's like he got captured, taken in as like a slave, and was beaten like fucking crazy by the Cho family's like son. And we know Cho Haitong has been antagonizing Shen Qingqiu throughout this version of the novel because she's like, you massacred my whole family. Well, he did, but a part of it was like, did they deserve it? I mean, the brother definitely deserved it because he would treat him so terribly. So he finally secretly was like learning cultivation, and then one day basically went berserk and killed everybody and escaped. And also there was like this guy that promised he'd come back for him and was like don't worry, I'm gonna go to all the peaks and I'm gonna like get super strong and I'll come back for you. And he never came back for him. And Shenzhou's memories were blurry, so we didn't get to know who this guy was. And then, oh my god, and then, it was a long chapter. We got to see Shen Jingqiu rise to power and get to take on Lo Binghe as a disciple. Effie, what the fuck? What? Effie, what are you doing? It's your birthday! Oh my god, stop! Oh my god. Holy shit, Effie, thank you so much. Oh my god. I wish there was a refund button, man. It's your birthday. What are you doing? Effie just sent a freaking $100 and said, you know what time it is? Kickter gets money time. What? Oh my god, I can't freaking believe you. What the heck? Thank you so much. I can't. You are so generous to do that on your birthday. Thank you so much, Effie. Holy shit. I just thank you so freaking much. Oh my god, that's so kind of you. Oh my goodness, all the fans in the chat, Windmaster in the chat. Oh, thank you so much, Effie. Oh my goodness, that's just so I'm blown away. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I hope you did something to celebrate you and your birthday today, okay? I hope that you were able to treat yourself or people treated you. Cause you've been too busy treating other people, man. Thank you so much. Tina sent a gift membership. Thank you so much, Tina. Thank you. I've noticed that you've been doing that on these streams. I really appreciate it, Tina. Thank you. And welcome Ace, who received that gift membership. CSZL sent a donation as well for the recap. Thank you. Recap. Shenzhou backstory brought to you by Mengmo. Chiga breaks a promise. Oh yes, his name was Chiga. The like secret guy. We don't know his face. And Shenzhou gets to murder as a treat. Yes, okay, and then the scene where Lo Binghe's like, I'm a little disciple. Oh my goodness, Shen Jingqiu, I'm your new disciple. Please love me. And then Shen Jingqiu, like Shenzhou, pours his tea on him, drops the teacup on his head. And Binghe cries. And Shen Jingqiu, who was watching this memory, horrified, gives him a hug, but he's just like a ghost because he's not actually there. And then we are brought back to like the current timeline and Binghe is there and Binghe puts his hands on his eyes and then covers him and is like, oh, I couldn't keep my hand around your eyes because your eyelashes were tickling my hands and my heart. And Shen Jingqiu's like, if anyone has long eyelashes, it's you, in his head. And he thinks that he should like kick Lo Binghe off of him and like admonish him for jumping on him. And Binghe's like pressing little kisses to him. And then Binghe says, did you miss me? And Shen Jingqiu nods. It's like, we got confirmation. That's pretty much a confession at this point, you know? So a lot happened last chapter. Damn. Cats Cows has been a member for 16 months. Thank you so much. And says, in the countdown to summer, everything is so busy. Happy for another Scum evening. Can't wait for you two to unbox the gift. Yes, me too. Thank you so much. Emma says, did you get the volume 4 hardcover of TGCF? If not, make sure to check for damage because I got my copy today and there was a crease across the dust jacket. Oh no, I didn't get mine yet. Let me double check if it's supposed to be coming. I'm so excited for that. Oh my goodness. And Yuwu came out today as well. I'm sorry that your cover was all fucked up. I hope that it, you can return it or something. Quinn Silva says, you never answered my cosplay question on Instagram. I'm sorry, my Instagram is honestly not the best place to reach me. The best place to reach me is during a live stream. So if you'd like to ask your question right now, I would love to answer it. I will definitely try to check my DMs and look for your question, though. And Dierzy sent a donation. Thank you so much. I made it just in time. Was out and about since 1 p.m. Central Time. Went to mom's doctor's appointment. Went to get our hair cut. Went to get my niece because she's staying a few nights. Went to Walmart. Then finally Arby's. Now home. Oh, that sounds like a really fun day, though. Lots of things to do. I'm glad that you can chill now and just hang out. And thank you for your donation as well. And Miss Rosie sent a gift membership. Thank you so much. And welcome Fandom Trash, who received the membership. And Quinn Silva, thank you for donating just to say I didn't answer your question. I'm so sorry. I will answer it. I want to answer it. And Effie said, treating my friends is how I treat myself. I love being able to help out whenever I can. Oh my god, you are a freaking angel, dude. Thank you so much. That's really too sweet of you. CSDL says your White Lotus impression is immaculate. Thank you. Jay says, oh, also Luchinga spotted baby Bingha. Yes, and he was like, I don't want him. He doesn't even pour it, he just throws the whole cup. Oh my god. At the very least, it wasn't boiling. Kate says, Bingha be kinda gay. Yes. Yes, he is. Kate says, Yuwu is sad. Miss Rosie sent a donation. Thank you so much. I can only stay for a little bit tonight, streaming at 8 Central Time, but I wanted to say hey and stay for as long as I can. Woot woot for double stream. Nice! Oh, that's awesome. What are you streaming tonight, Rosie? Right after this, I have to go to hockey. I've been playing so much hockey recently. It's awesome. Dree says, Yuwu is actually so happy. They have never suffered the horrors ever. Correct. Kenzie says, were you able to read my first couple of chapters to my book? Also, no train issues yet. I did cry today, though. Oh, Kenzie, I'm sorry that you've been crying. I didn't get to read the chapters, but I read the synopsis, and I thought it sounded really, really cool. I think that's awesome that you're writing it. Horror Girl says, I met someone today at Hot Topic who likes Heaven Official's Blessing, and she liked my custom bag. That's fucking sick. That's awesome. Luchinga about Bing Bing, he's like, he's gotta come to me for training. Yeah, he was like, he's tsundere about his fucking disciples. Like, I'm not asking anybody if they want to come to me. They gotta just come to me if they want to come to me. It's like, they're children. Are they allowed to? Forgetting Envies has been a member for 2 months. Thank you so much. And says, getting to know my new girlfriend's friends through TGCF. That is wonderful. And Emma is able to get a new copy. Oh, good. Night Owl, what's up? Night Owl has been a member for 28 months and says, can't stay, but I wanted to pop in to say hi. I still have to catch up because I missed the last couple of reading sessions. I gotta listen to past streams. Oh yes, it's been good. We're getting close. We are more than halfway through now. Wei Wuxian's wig says, Lo Chinga did kind of want him as much as he acts like he didn't, but Shenzhou took him despite Lo Chinga. Yeah. He didn't exactly fight for him, I suppose. We're on the penultimate chapter for the main story. Oh, shit. Quinn Silva says, cosplay question. How does someone keep long wigs silky during cons? Cosplaying Jinshi from Apothecary, and I want to do him justice. Oh my god, man. I am not the best wig person to ask. I know that people crimp their wigs beforehand. It's like you go over it with a crimper a couple times so that it's like a little bit puffy, not that it has visible crimps in it, you know, and that helps it from not getting tangled. I think people use a horse detangle or something. Oh,
you can also use
come in here.
You can also use silicone spray or like fabric softener, like diluted in a spray bottle. But be careful with the silicone spray because that's like something you can't breathe in. So you gotta do that outdoors or whatnot. Anyways, that's all I know.
You look so hot right now. What the hell? You just come in here with your freaking... What? Oh my goodness gracious. Hello. When she comes in with her measuring tape around her neck. Goodness me. Hi, Stitch. Bye, Stitch. The goddess of cosplay has blessed us. Truly, she's working hard. I bought her a steamer for our anniversary present, and she's been busy using that like it's like an industrial steamer. I'm the industrial streamer. She's the industrial steamer. I heard her laugh through the door. Stitch just materialized like the cosplay wizard she is. But can you steam buns with it? Oh my god, we also have a basket steamer. That's a game changer. You should make that a couple shirt. Braylee has been a member for 6 months. Thank you so much, Braylee. And says, can't wait for Scum. Me too. We need to get a rice cooker. We've been looking for a rice cooker. They're quite expensive. Stitch having a measuring tape around her and appearing suddenly like, did someone say wigs? I just cook rice in like a pot on the stove. But I suppose it's like I also fucking love my air fryer, and it's like you could just use the oven, so I get it. Okay, sounds like we definitely need to get a rice cooker. We need to get a okay, the final things for our house, we need rice cooker and an espresso machine. Oh, now I'm hungry. Oh my god. No, I have to power through. Okay, we gotta read. Shall we read? Shall we skate? Hopefully we can read this whole chapter. Oh, wow, I cut right to it. Okay, we got this. We so got this. There's even a picture. All right. Somebody please make a comment on the video saying that the reading begins at 5:20. Almost blaze it. And also, if you guys want to get my attention while we're reading, you can do @Kickter, and on the chat, when I see it, your message appears bright orange. And also, try not to say any spoilers, And also, don't feel like any questions are dumb. If you have any questions, the community here is so nice that people will be happy to answer any confusion happily in a positive tone. You don't have to be worried about sounding dumb if you're confused or if you forgot who a character was or something. As long as you're not asking something that is like heavily involves a spoiler, it's all good. Okay. And yeah. Let's jump right in. Let's just read the last little page again. Lo Binghe kissed his way down Shenqing Chou's eyes. I said that I would come for you. It's been so many days since our last meeting. Did Shizen miss me? According to the standard response Shenqing Chou had in mind, first he should knee Lo Binghe in the belly, then kick this unfilial disciple away and tidy up his appearance before finally delivering a cold and aloof, I didn't. But somehow, when he thought back to that recent memory of Lo Binghe kneeling alone in the bamboo house, silently picking up the teacup on the floor, his leg wouldn't obey him at all. Shenqing Chou's breathing also seemed to tremble against Lo Binghe's palm. He closed his eyes and nodded. He missed him. Lo Binghe had already braced himself to be kicked off the couch, so Shenqing Chou nodding caught him completely off guard. He went stiff in his perch atop Shenqing Chou, and his expression froze as well. Only then did Shenqing Chou realize what he had done, what that nod of his meant. He was filled with the urge to eradicate all witnesses, as well as off himself in shame. No, 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 it's not what you think, let me explain. But Lo Binghe didn't give him the chance. The arm around Shenqing Chou's waist tightened and his voice dropped. You really missed me? Shenqing Chou frowned at how tightly Lo Binghe squeezed him. Lo Binghe persisted breathlessly and tirelessly. You really did? You're covering my mouth. Even if I wanted to answer, I couldn't. Meaning he could only choose to nod or shake his head. To mess with him, Shenqing Chou alternated between nodding his head and shaking it. Oh my goodness. So which is it? You did or you didn't? Lo Binghe asked, now urgent. As he looked close to tears, Shenqing Chou was left with no recourse but to admit defeat. He was hit with a bizarre feeling that he was martyring himself. With his entire face on the line, he dawdled for a while longer before finally nodding once. I can't believe he had to nod multiple times. This time, Shenqing Chou saw everything clearly. At the moment of his confirmation, Lo Binghe's breathing came to a stop. A small, weak spark glimmered to life in his eyes before it rapidly spread like a raging wildfire through his entire face and body. Just when Shenqing Chou thought Lo Binghe was about to burst into tears of joy, Lo Binghe suddenly burrowed into him, pressing his face into the gap between Shenqing Chou's lapels. The hand covering his mouth slowly fell away. Then he started to drop tiny, quick kisses all over the corner of Shenqing Chou's mouth, not unlike a little chick pecking for grain. Now that he was finally able to breathe properly, Shenqing Chou tossed out 2 words from between gritted teeth. What nonsense! I also missed you, Lo Binghe muttered. Really, really missed you. There wasn't a single moment when I didn't miss you. Shenqing Chou slowly released the breath he'd been holding in his chest. He laid back on the couch like a dead fish, staring up at the bamboo house's ceiling in despair. After a long moment, he finally sighed. Then why didn't you come look for this master inside the dream realm these past few days? Lo Binghe stared at him with dark, moist eyes. Wouldn't Shizen find me annoying? Pestering him during the day, then pestering him more in his dreams at night, Shenqing Chou spent 24 hours a day staring at this face. Of course it was annoying! But somehow, while he wasn't paying attention, he'd become used to the pestering. Like how now, even though Lo Binghe was practically on top of him, Shenqing Chou shockingly didn't find it unacceptable. Exactly how had they reached this point? Wasn't it becoming a little much? You know that it's annoying, yet you don't show the least bit of restraint, Shenqing Chou said dryly. It's not the first time Shizen's complained about me, so it's fine. I'll accept that I'm annoying. This is so cute. At these words, Shenqing Chou's heart couldn't help but throb a little. Just how far did Lo Binghe's love for him go? Even back during Lo Binghe's early days on Sangchong Mountain, when he'd suffered that awful treatment, the moment Shenqing Chou expressed the tiniest kindness, he had wiped all the prior harm he'd suffered from his mind and accepted Shenqing Chou into the depths of his heart without a moment of hesitation. Then Shenqing Chou unknowingly crushed that glass heart of his, and Lo Binghe picked up the pieces one by one like an abused young wife, gluing them back together, whereupon he handed it back to Shen Qingqiu full of hope and expectations, only for it to be crushed again, then glued back together, etc. Whenever Shizun is at Stangchong Mountain, Lo Binghe said quietly, when Shizun's with other people, he always smiles so happily, so I thought that you wouldn't miss me. Immortal Master Shen's badass act had become habit by now, especially when he was at Stangchong Mountain. The most he offered was an enigmatic, ambiguous expression that both seemed to be a smile and not. Otherwise, it was a smile that didn't reach his eyes and left people guessing. Or excluding that, it was a perfunctory, fake smile. Exactly when had he smiled so happily? Nonsense, Shen Qingqiu objected. It's true that Shizun's smiles are never very wide, Lo Binghe said, but of course I know when Shizun is smiling within his heart. You're lying on top of someone and acting spoiled while playing with a strand of their hair. Are you a little girl? Shen Qingqiu rolled his eyes. Yes, you're the round worm in my stomach. And this is a common Chinese idiom approximately equivalent to, you read my mind, or you know me like the back of your hand. Yes, you're the round worm in my stomach. I don't want to be a round worm. Shen Qingqiu smacked the hand playing with his hair like it was a mosquito. Then what do you want to be? You tell me. Just who has this master smiled at? By the end of his question, he was giving that wandering hand a smack every couple of words, but it still wasn't deterred. Lo Binghe actually began to count them off. Lots of people. Lu Shishu, sect leader Yue, Shang Qinghua, Ming Fan, Ning Shijie, Shanshu Peak's disciples, and Wanjian Peak, Jianzhao Peaks, Chongding Peaks, and Baijian Peaks, the mountain guards, the stair sweepers. He wouldn't even let the mountain guards and the stair sweepers go. Just how deep was this child's grudge? The entirety of Stangchong Mountain was about to drown beneath this demon import super fragrant mature vinegar. That shushu of yours was much too insincere, Shen Qingqiu criticized him. You're not allowed to use that tone again in the future. Well, when he lectures me, he calls me little beast or ingrate, Lo Binghe complained resentfully. He's plenty sincere then. Shen Qingqiu couldn't help but burst into laughter. He picked up the fan next to the couch and rapped Lo Binghe's forehead. Is he wrong? When you have the gall to put your paws on even your Shizun, what could you be if not a little beast? Oh my goodness. So cute. His words came out so smoothly that he didn't realize he hadn't been sufficiently careful with his response. There was a lilt to his words, the tail end lifting together with the corner of his lips, neither light nor heavy. There was even a frivolity to his tone, with no propriety at all. As Lo Binghe looked down at Shen Qingqiu, he took in this sight, feeling like a nameless, agitating fire burned within his abdomen and the heart in his chest. He unconsciously moved and slid his thigh between Shen Qingqiu's. Then, fearing that Shen Qingqiu would notice and kick him off the couch, he quickly moved his head over, letting Shen Qingqiu wrap it with his fan to his heart's content. Even if I am a little beast, I am only Shizun's little beast and no one else's, so no one else is allowed to call me that. Goodness gracious. He got a little excited there, I think. It's like, I'm Little Beast? You're affectionately calling me Little Beast? Slides thigh between legs. Spread 'em, Shizun! You can't say that! That's so funny. Oh my god. At those words, Shen Qingqiu felt like he'd been force-fed a liter of sour plum soup. The nauseating sappiness was making his hair stand on end, and he almost snapped his fan right in two. He hastily prodded at Lo Binghe's chest, wanting him off. Get up. In order to talk about proper things, first they needed to assume proper sitting positions. While they were on top of each other like this, any topic, no matter how proper, would become improper. Lo Binghe was reluctant, but he still pulled himself up to sit on the end of the couch. After sleeping for 5 days, Shen Qingqiu felt like his waist was about to snap. Thankfully, he could finally straighten it now. He thought that his appearance was that of a frowning, grumpy old man, massaging and kneading his waist and legs, but those who saw him wouldn't have come away with the same impression. His hair hung loose and slightly messy around his shoulders, while his collar lay askew, exposing a few white shoulders and while his collar lay askew, exposing a fair white shoulder and leaving his throat and collarbone in clear view. Furthermore, because he'd just been tumbling about on the couch, there was a soft flush to his cheeks as he frowned, head lowered and kneading his waist. At this sight, anyone with unruly thoughts would only become more unruly. Lo Binghe watched him, eyes unblinking, then scooted closer and massaged his waist slowly. Shen Jingqiu was satisfied. Good boy. How considerate. I have many more considerate traits that Shizen doesn't know about. Stop! Girl! Girl! Are you for real? Oh my god. This is like... Shen Jingqiu, you cannot come back from any gay allegation from this. Like, it is not allegations. You are gay. You are flirting. This is so... Oh my god. That was so intimate. I loved that. He gets up looking all like basically fucked and is rubbing his waist, and then Binghe starts rubbing his waist slowly, and then fucking Shen Jingqiu says, good boy. That's hot. And Binghe's like, yeah, I've got more. I've even got even more. And Shen Jingqiu's like, oh yeah? Like, oh my god, girl! Like, literally moments ago, he was like, this is improper. We gotta stop doing improper shit. And then he immediately leans into it like, oh yeah? Good boy? Shen Jingqiu thought he looked like an old man. Lo Binghe thought he looked breedable. That was genuinely steamy. That was good. That was good. Holy cow. Good for them. Good for them. I have many more considerate traits that Shizen doesn't know about. What a show-off. When you face off against Qianlin Jun, Lo Binghe continued, if Shizen needs any help, feel free to call me. Shen Jingqiu had been avoiding the topic of Qianlin Jun this whole time for fear of upsetting Lo Binghe. He hadn't expected Lo Binghe himself to be the one to bring it up. This was a little too considerate. He pondered for a moment, then said while deliberating, your father... Lo Binghe pressed his face into Shen Jingqiu's shoulder and said stuffily, I have no father, I only have Shizen. Shen Jingqiu was silent. Why does it sound like I've become your father? He waved away this feeling of defeat and said seriously, if you're pushing yourself, don't force it. No matter what kind of weirdo Qianlin Jun was, in the end, he was Lo Binghe's dad. He was also someone Lo Binghe had once yearned for, even if the real person couldn't have been more different from the mental image in Lo Binghe's daydreams. Lo Binghe didn't stop his hands and said indifferently, I'm not pushing myself. Shen Jingqiu studied him closely. True enough, this was indeed the expression of someone who is completely willing to help with a real campaign. There was no trace of Lo Binghe fighting his own feelings. Also, okay, Binghe is like, you know, master manipulator, crybaby, gets what he wants, knows how to play Shen Jingqiu's buttons. But also, they're in this, like, really flirty situation, and it's kind of like the first time Shen Jingqiu is, like, really flirting back with him, and then he brings up the plot. Like, he is the one bringing up, like, his will to help him, and not, like, only pursuing Shen Jingqiu being like, we're gonna bang right now, you know? Like, that shows he really, 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 you know, cares for him in many regard. Lo Binghe gotta lock in. It's to ward off the boner. Shen Jingqiu studied him closely. True enough, this was indeed the expression of someone who is completely willing to help with a real campaign. There was no trace of Lo Binghe fighting his own feelings. In all honesty, this was a good thing. Though a son joining the effort to screw over his own father wasn't too filial, if Lo Binghe really was willing to cooperate with the cultivation world to overcome Qianlin Jun, not only would the human realm gain a powerful force of help, but Lo Binghe would be able to farm a massive amount of righteous image points. Then Shen Jingqiu would be able to compensate for the minus points he'd received at Jiaohua Monastery. It's like, oh my god, it feels kind of gross to like think about the system at this point, you know? Just now, when Yue Qingyuan left, he said that Shen Qingqiu should rest properly and that he should leave this issue to fellow sect members, making it very clear that he didn't want Shen Qingqiu participating in the war. Shen Qingqiu muttered to himself, Jiangmen Shishang might not allow me to take part in the battle. The first day of snow at the Luo River, you should keep this time and location in mind. Lo Binghe's hands on his waist lightened, and he said gently, Sometimes I feel like Shizun understands certain things far too well. Shen Qingqiu's heart thumped hard against his ribcage. Like that time at the Holy Mausoleum, Lo Binghe continued. Shizun had obviously never been in the Holy Mausoleum before, but he seemed to know the layout of the graves and the monsters guarding the mausoleum like the back of his hand. And he even took advantage of them easily. This disciple was truly amazed and impressed. Shen Qingqiu deliberately tried to downplay it. Qingjing Peak has accumulated so many records with every generation. Those aren't blank sheets of paper. Reading through them exhaustively has its uses. I cheated, and I'm a transmigrator from the 21st century. Lo Binghe only responded with an oh. Having finished the massage, his hands began to carefully comb Shen Qingqiu's hair, which hung loose down his back. This disciple has done some reading of those records as well, but I didn't see quite that much. As expected, I have a long way to go to reach Shizun. How had he forgotten? Lo Binghe was a grade A student among grade A students to a terrifyingly impossible extent. If Lo Binghe said he'd done some reading, that meant he had taken those piles of dusty old books and memorized them to the point that he could recite them from cover to cover, so of course he'd know that there weren't any such uses within. This wasn't Yue Qingyuan. If Shen Qingqiu didn't want to say something, Yue Qingyuan wouldn't keep questioning him. Lo Binghe, however, would absolutely latch on and ask about something until he hit the heart of the matter. He wasn't that easy to dupe. The gears within Shen Qingqiu's brain turned and turned, trying to think of some means of talking around this. Suddenly, Ning Yingying's voice came from outside the bamboo house. Shizun, are you awake? May Yingying come in? Good girl, what an obedient disciple. You should leave first, Shen Qingqiu said in a low voice. Lo Binghe's hands paused. Why do I have to leave and not them? Mingfan's voice came as well. Shizun, several Shishu have arrived. Is now a good time for you to get up? Why is everyone coming all at once? Shen Qingqiu leapt off the couch and pushed Lo Binghe to the window. Lo Binghe turned his head while walking to say, so Shizun likes to be sneaky about it. Oh my god. Shen Qingqiu again rapped his forehead with the fan. Just who's the one sneaking around? Whose fault is it? Why must he always make every situation look like a secret affair? Okay, bro, it literally is a secret affair at this point. Lo Binghe silently flipped out the window. Just fucking backflips out the window. Shizun missed me and I got to touch his waist. Woo! But then reached in again to grab Shen Qingqiu. He said gently, Shizun, once everything calms down, will you leave with me? Shen Qingqiu couldn't quite relinquish his own face. This master is still the Qingjing Peak Lord, he said reservedly. If Lo Binghe wanted to see him, he could just come and look for him. Why did Shen Qingqiu have to leave with him? He refused to give the regret of Chunshen more material. Lo Binghe sighed. I thought you'd say that. With the window shut, the bamboo's house's door opened instead. Qi Qingqi's voice reached Shen Qingqiu before her person. She lifted the curtains, revealing her bright, lovely face. You become more delicate each day, she said, lips pursed. Did the few staff strikes you received at Jiaohua Monastery injure you that badly? Were you coughing up blood or what? Sleeping for 5 days in one go? Shen Qingqiu turned and said, only partly insincere. Don't be like this, Qi Shimei. You've always known that my body is weak. Qi Qingqi humphed. I've always known that you cause a lot of trouble, that's true. Behind her followed Luo Mingyan, who bowed after entering the house, and after her came Luo Qingge. Mingfan and Ning Yingying walked together with Mu Qingfan at the rear. The bamboo house, which was neither large nor small, was suddenly brimming with people. Shame filled Shen Qingqiu. Luckily, Lo Binghe had already left through the window, otherwise they couldn't have concealed him. Mu Qingfan smiled. I told you that Shen Shishong's complexion was good. Now there are no abnormalities, and he really was only asleep. Now do you believe me? Shen Qingqiu expressed his embarrassment, then showed the Peak Lords to their seats. He noted that Luo Qingge had become scanning the room continuously after entering, gaze intense. Luo Shidi, I'm over here. Luo Qingge withdrew his gaze and turned towards Shen Qingqiu. Who was here just now? He can, like, fucking smell the gay in the room. He's like, Bing, huh? Fairy godparents! Oh my god. Shen Qingqiu specifically pointed at a seat for him. Jiangmen Shishang just left. He picked up the tea kettle on the table. Mingfan hurried over to help, but Shen Qingqiu waved him off, making it clear that there was no need to intervene. As Shen Qingqiu personally served everyone tea, Liu Qingge finally sat down and picked up his teacup. He took a sip and spoke no further. Of course Jiangmen Shishang would come, Qi Qingqi said. By that expression of yours, Liu Shidi, I thought you were talking about Lo Binghe. Of course the speaker didn't mean anything, the listener felt it. Shen Qingqiu's cheeks ached and he gave a fake smile. How could that be? Qi Qingqi put the teacup down heavily and gave him a meaningful glance. Indeed, how could that be? If that bastard Lo Binghe still has the gall to come to Sangchong Mountain, he'll see how we send him packing. And there is a picture of the jealous boyfriend here. Poor Lo Qingge. He's just being gaslit left and right. First, you must be capable of sending and packing, Mu Qingfan said from the seat beside her and tucked into his sleeves. Shen Qingqiu chuckled aloud, leaving her no face. Qi Qingqi pointed at him. You laugh? You still have the face to laugh? You're the biggest headache. Shen Qingqiu, I'll tell you right now, it's a good thing you returned with Shishang and Shidi this time. If you'd gone and left with Lo Binghe without a word again, I'd be the first in line to discipline you. Then we'd see if you could still fumble around. This was clearly an expression of concern, yet she worded it so savagely. All that was missing was her grabbing Shen Qingqiu by the scruff of his neck. Everyone in the room clustered around them. The ones watching for entertainment continued watching. The ones drinking tea continued drinking. And the ones eating melon seeds continued eating. How come Lo Mingyan wouldn't remove her veil even when eating melon seeds? Shen Qingqiu was rather afraid of Qi Qingqi and hastily changed the topic. How is Jiangmen Shishang? Did that injury he sustained completely heal? He's about recovered, Mu Qingfan said. However, though he said recovered, he still looked like he wanted to sigh. Qi Qingqi humphed again. If not for how Shishang refuses to draw his sword except at a last resort, on top of how he forcefully broke his seclusion after hearing of the siege, Lo Binghe wouldn't have had it so easily. If you'd just taken a little longer to show up, you might have been able to see Shishang draw Xuan Su. Anticipation and excitement filled Shen Qingqiu's heart at these words. One must understand that regardless of whether it was in the original work or this world, he had never witnessed a scene in which Xuan Su left its sheath. Who knew what airplane shooting towards the sky was thinking either, keeping it secret at all costs and refusing to write it. All talk and no action. He'd built that sword up in great detail again and again. Then at the very end, a scam! With not a single thing to show for himself. Yue Qingman was pierced with 10,000 arrows and perished. Goodbye. Ever since Ning Yingying entered the room, she'd stood at the side with her head lowered. Shen Qingqiu beckoned her over. What's wrong? Ning Yingying slowly walked up to him and raised her head. Her eyes were as red as a little rabbit's, her voice congested as she mumbled. Shizhen, now that you've come back, don't leave ever again, okay? She'd been crying. Shen Qingqiu was stunned. He wasn't someone with particularly active tear ducts. At most, he would shed a few tears for biological reasons. So how come his disciples were all the type to turn into weeping beauties at the drop of a hat? Moved by this scene, Mingfan became sorrowful and began to howl as well. Shizhen! Though this image couldn't be any further from that of a weeping beauty, Qi Qingqi never let a chance to lecture him pass her by. Look at your disciples. Does your heart not ache? You don't have just the one, yet you only dote on that ingrate. Do you care about the others at all? Shen Qingqiu patted Ning Yingying's back, offering her some small comfort while defending himself. Since when have I only doted on one? Lo Qingge drank his tea until only 1/3 remained. Gaze lowered, he said, Now that you're back, stay. Don't leave again. Shen Qingqiu said succinctly. Oh my god, literally everybody. Literally everybody. Don't leave, now that you're back. I love that. Hey, I don't play favorites. I love all my disciples equally. Lo Binghe and, They are staging an intervention, Esper Lady, yes. Lo Qingge is such a jealous boyfriend. He is. Come back to Gusu with me, core. That's so funny. Shen Qingqiu has 2 hands. Oh my god. Oh my god. With this answer of his, Qi Qingqi was completely satisfied. Liu Qingge was about to say something else when his brows furrowed and his murderous aura flared. Everyone in the room sensed the change in his demeanor. Without thinking, their hands went to their swords. Liu Qingge suddenly stood and flashed up to the window. Shen Qingqiu's heart leapt to his throat, where it hung suspended. Liu Qingge abruptly pushed open both sides of the window. Outside, sparse stars and a bright moon hung above, while a dense bamboo forest lay below. There was no one to be seen. Of course Liu Binghe wouldn't have continued to foolishly idle there. He must have left long ago. The mood within the room quickly relaxed. Liu Shishong, what are you looking at? Mu Qingfeng asked. However, Liu Qingge didn't turn back. Instead, he reached out as if catching something that was falling from the sky. After a long moment, he pulled his hand back and turned around. It's snowing. Oh shit, not the ice. Are the ice demons here? Sugar Kiss, oh my goodness, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much, Sugar Kiss. Welcome Rubicon and Owo and Catherine JT and Emily Clark and Claire. Sugar Kiss says, can't stay long but enjoy, y'all. Oh, thank you so much, Sugar Kiss. Oh my goodness. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. It's absolutely spoiling me today. Oh my goodness. I know, I'm like, is Moby Jun here? Just in time for Sugar Kiss? Shen Qingqiu lay wide awake the entire night. The next day, the moment he heard the alarm bells clamor, he dashed out of the bamboo house. The ringing grew increasingly urgent, both loud and insistent, its echo resounding without pause, lingering and reverberating throughout the entirety of Sangchong Mountain's summit. Orion, thank you for your donation. Orion says, I kinda understand Liu Qingge's jealous boyfriendness because Binghe is low-key insane. No, I get it. It's like, I feel like Liu Qingge was like the boy next door who you kinda thought he was gonna get with. They had some issues to work through. But then fucking crazy-ass Binghe shows up and you're like, you're gonna get with this guy? Disciples from every peak streamed toward Chongding Peak via the rainbow bridges for the assembly. The area outside Chongding Peak's main hall was crowded with people, yet it was dead silent. Once Shen Qingqiu finished settling in, everyone from Chongding Peak, he entered the hall. A white crystal mirror over 3 meters high stood to one side. Jersey, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships! Oh my goodness! Thank you so much, that's so kind of you! Welcome Lily and Darla and Darkwing and Song, Lore, and Valeria. I really appreciate that, Jersey. Thank you so much. That is a huge help to my channel. It really, really means the world to me. Thank you so much. My goodness, you guys. Once Shen Qingqiu finished settling in, everyone from Qingjing Peak, he entered the hall. A white crystal mirror over 3 meters high stood to one side. Oh, Quinn Silva, thank you for a donation! Moby Jun's lips taste the way mint feels. Changed my mind. Oh my gosh. A little cold, a little tingly? I'm sure Chang Twinghua's into it. Beside a single Anding Peak disciple who was stepping in to handle logistics, all other Peak lords had already arrived. They stood before the mirror, expression grave. Reflected within was a vast and tranquil river, flanked by verdant mountains and green fields on both sides. Embedded within those fields were scattered white roofs, some in rows and some alone. The sky above the little river's middle reaches, said Yue Qingyuan. Above that scenery, a dark, cavernous mass had appeared, a gloomy and treacherous mountain ridge, like a black skull pitted with crevices pierced through the cloud. It crept forth from the rolling storm, hanging inverted as it stared emptily down below. That was the Demon Realm's Mai-Gu Ridge. From what we've heard, it began last night, said Yue Qingyuan. Initially, one could only see a mass of rock. Within 2 hours, one could discern a mountain ridge. In less than 2 hours, a Peak Lord said in shock. That's far too fast. No, that was the normal speed for such a merge. Sure enough, Tianlin-Jun had selected what the original work had called the best time and location to act. If everything proceeded according to expectations, after half a day, this phenomena would begin to occur everywhere. Within 2 days, the two realms would be completely integrated, as if one had torn up two complete and separate pictures, then haphazardly spliced them together to create a new image riddled with pits and scars. Lo Chinga stood with his arms crossed, Chung Luan in hand. So we must be faster. All Peak Lords, select 2/3 of your inner disciples to move out with you, said Yue Qingyuan. Arrive at the Low River's middle reaches within an hour. Having received the sect leader's command, the Peak Lords dispersed in a flurry. In order to arrive within an hour, they had less than 10 minutes to make preparations, so naturally they had to be quick. Shen Qingqiu was also ready to head back and make his selection, but Yue Qingyuan called him back. You stay here. Shen Qingqiu turned his head. Shishong, you know I must go. Shidi, the other than the first snow and the low river, what else do you know? In order to stop the merge, we must first remove Shin Mo, Shen Qingqiu said slowly. It's been inserted somewhere into the skull of Maigu Ridge. Tianlin-Jun must be there to supply it with power. That meant the only solutions were 1. Destroy Shin Mo, or 2. Kill Tianlin-Jun. Stay here on watch, Yue Qingyuan insisted. Shen Qingqiu was about to say something, but Yue Qingyuan lifted his hand and formed a gesture, as if about to cast a binding technique to directly seal Shen Qingqiu within Chongding Hall. The sect leader was going to play hardball! Shen Qingqiu's back tensed. He didn't know whether to reach for Xu Ya. At this moment, a staggered chorus of shocked cries came from outside the hall. Both of them rushed outside and looked toward where the disciples in the field were pointing. Shen Qingqiu drew in a faint, chilled breath. In the sky, over Sangchong Mountain, surging clouds billowed like a furious, roiling ocean, their masses suffused with a bloody glow. Ray after ray of red light pierced the horizon, and boulders wrapped in flames descended one by one like giant blazing meteors, hurtling straight toward Sangchong Mountain. Unperturbed, Yue Qingyuan lifted his hand and formed a gesture. Xuan Su screamed forth, still in its sheath, smashing those boulders in a fine powder. Like the aftermath of bursting fireworks, tiny particles drifted down, still carrying some residual warmth. Within the red clouds, glowing like a volcanic crater, one could faintly make out countless arms and howling heads, struggling and heaving, twisted in thousands expressions of agony, like a scene from hell. My goodness gracious. Fuck it all, it's the endless abyss! Sangchong Mountain really hit the jackpot! Shen Qingqiu roared internally, airplane shooting towards the sky. You had the stones to write an interdimensional merge, and the stones to explicitly write that Sangchong Mountain's location would just happen to merge with the endless abyss? After this wave, who knew when or if the next wave of assaults would come? Who knew how much time they had before the 12 peaks merged with the endless abyss to become a sea of fire and lava, a hell on earth? No one could stay on Sangchong Mountain, not anymore. Request assistance from the masters of Jiaohua Monastery, Yue Qingyuan said to the Anding Peak disciples in charge of logistics. Then he turned and raised his voice. Hear me, disciples, on watch. The moment the barrier breaks, drop everything and leave for the mountain immediately. The 1,000+ disciples on the field answered as one. Yes! Yue Qingyuan turned his head. Qingzhou Shidi, head to the Luo River with them. Lo Qingge had finished picking his disciples and returned. What about you, sect leader? I'll hold them off while I wait for Jiaohua Monastery's assistance. I'll be with you right after. Jiangmen Shishong, can you handle this by yourself? Shen Qingqiu asked. Or I could stay behind. Yue Qingyuan actually smiled. When asked to stay, you leave, yet when told to leave, you try to stay. Xiao Shidi, really? Lo Qingge grabbed Shen Qingqiu and dragged him away with a succinct, let's go. If he says he'll be right there, he will be. Oh my goodness. With the calamity imminent, Sangchong Mountain finally gained the self-awareness expected of a cultivation novel's #1 sect. At last, no longer were they so carefree as to plod along by carriage or boat. Thousands of swords swept through the sky at lightning speeds. If anyone below looked up, they would have seen a dazzling array of lights, as if they gazed at the Milky Way itself. It was a tremendously magnificent scene. Unfortunately, those eerie mountain rocks emerging from the sky left no one with the heart to admire this rare and splendid spectacle. As expected, Anding Peak was unparalleled when it came to logistics, possessing terrifying efficiency. The dispatch barrier troops from Jiaohua Monastery clearly arrived with great speed and reinforced the barrier. Yue Qingyuan also extracted himself with extraordinary swiftness, and just as swiftly caught up. In less than an hour, they'll arrive at the Luo River's middle reaches. Because of the great number of people, they were forced to partition themselves into groups and descend in turns. Both banks of the Lowell River had already long been crowded with cultivators who had received the news, observed the phenomena, and come to investigate, their various sect colors intermingling in a mosaic. Points at Lochingo. Guards! Impregnate that man! The Taoists from Tianyi Temple were busy evacuating the ordinary civilians by the Luo River, while Wu Wang and Wu Chen walked in front as they led Jiaohua Monastery to the assembly. Yue Qingyan cupped his hands, deferential. Many thanks to the masters for the disciples you sent to resolve our crisis. Without you, Sangchong Mountain's 1,000-year legacy might have come to an end today, and been unable to survive. That monk, Wu Wang, always had a lot to say, but today he kept his expression stony and remained silent. Instead, it was Master Wu Chen who wiped away his sweat and said, Amitabha, it was not only your honored sect whose 1,000-year legacy was at risk. Jiaohua Monastery was in danger of falling to this plight. Yue Qingwen was a little surprised. Was that the case? Masters, you sent hundreds of your monastery's barrier disciples to Sangchong Mountain. Did you have enough to defend the monastery? Shen Qingqiu was also skeptical. Was Jiaohua Monastery really so enlightened that they'd help other sects even if it meant harming themselves? Wu Wang's expression worsened further. Master Wu Chen realized that he wouldn't talk, so he could only continue speaking in his place. This is truly difficult to say. It wasn't saved by our own strength, but with someone else's great assistance. Yue Qingyan was bemused. It couldn't be Tianyi Temple. Tianyi Temple had always possessed a reputation for being lax and carefree. They were the most disorganized and undisciplined of the major sects. On top of that, they had no great accomplishments when it came to barrier arts, so if Jiaohua Monastery really had survived thanks to Tianyi Temple's assistant, that would certainly be quite remarkable. Master Wu Chen shook his head. It was Huanhua Palace. Shen Qingqiu's face paused, and he blurted out, Huanhua Palace? Then wasn't that... Wu Wang looked rather green. Correct. It was Lo Binghe. Oh shit. Suddenly, a soft, short laugh drifted to them from the side. I dare not call it great assistance, a clear and ringing voice said courteously. If it must be said, I was only doing it for Shizen's sake. Everyone present was a cultivator with supremely sharp senses, so no matter if they were near or far, at this moment they all turned towards Shen Qingqiu. Hundreds of pairs of eyes and gazes of every kind surrounded him from all directions. Shen Qingqiu opened his fan, silently using it to conceal part of his face. Lo Binghe strolled over, and a gust of river wind blew against his profile, rippling the hem of his black robes. The sword at his waist was Zhang Yang. Behind him, Mo Beijun walked to his left, chin slightly raised, while Xia Hualing's alluring figure was to his right. The long unseen Huanhua Palace disciples followed closely behind, and at the very end of their train was a small troop of demon soldiers in black armor. Zhang Qinghua was mixed into the crowd, appearing here and there. He darted back and forth, movements as slippery as an eel, and completely incongruous with the scene. The moment he and Shen Qingqiu came face to face, hooks seemed to fire from their eyes, entangling their gazes as 1,000 swords and knives shot back and forth between them. It was quite exciting. I can picture that moment so well. That, like, is so cinematically epic. Like, Binghe rolling up with the other demons and the big-ass army, and then Shen Qinghua being like, oh, fuck! That's awesome. Lo Binghe cut through the crowd, stately and grand, then placed himself as the third party, standing at the last point of the triangle. A brilliant variety of countenances were displayed across the crowd, enough to compose a whole custom emoji set, especially those from Sangchong Mountain. There had been a time when they'd fought Huanhua Palace on sight, so now upon meeting an old nemesis, their gazes were particularly furious. But given what Jiaohua Monastery had said, currently they were not enemies, but allies, so they could only swallow down those feelings and show restraint. Are the two masters serious with this? Qi said warily. Lo Binghe smiled. Is Peak Lord Qi worried that Jiaohua Monastery has also been, ruined by my influence? As another tussle was about to break out, Shen Qingqiu hastily said, Of course Master Wu Chen's words wouldn't contain falsehoods. As he spoke, it was like the hundreds of gazes that had originally been diverted from him had been agitated, and as one, they all swept towards him again. Chi Ching Cheese glared at him viciously, her expression like that of someone who resented his uselessness, or of a parent upset with their child's boyfriend. Lo Bingha's gaze was fixed upon him, and he spoke as if no one else was present. Shizun, we haven't seen each other in so long. This disciple missed you dearly. Didn't we meet just last night? If anyone else said that they'd missed someone dearly, everyone on the scene would definitely break out in goosebumps, but Lo Bingha's setting was stuck on, no matter what he says, people will never feel disturbed. So the crowd's attention failed to shift towards him. Shen Qingqiu, however, was personally experiencing the cold and judgmental stares of a crowd. It was all he could do to make a tactful sound of acknowledgement. Oh my god. A small smile lingered on Lo Bingha's lips. The southern and northern borders have been locked in an endless conflict, he continued. I am the leader of the northern border. We don't agree with this act of the merger, and therefore, this time, we're willing to lend you our strength, to join hands and repel the enemy. Watching Lo Bingha stand with his hands behind him, dignified and proper, who could have guessed that beneath this exterior was the personality of a young maiden who loved to lie atop others while crying and acting spoiled? Who would you believe if you told them? Forgive this Yue's suspicion, but when we last met at Jiaohua Monastery, we parted on unhappy terms, Yue Qingyuan said calmly. Now Palace Master Luo suddenly wishes to join hands with the cultivation world to repel his own birth father? I only do things for one person, Lo Bingha said shortly. I neither know nor care about anyone else. Yo, I love this shit. I love this shit. I love this devotion. I love him saying it in front of everybody. Oh my god. I stand with my cancelled wife. That's crazy. Oh my god. He hadn't said who the person was this time, but did it matter? Was there a point? On this snowy winter day, Shen Qingqiu fanned himself so hard, his literature club appropriate folding fan almost turned into an electric one. If only he could blow all those gazes still aimed at him to somewhere beyond the 9 heavens. One of the sect leaders let out a tri-laugh. Peak Lord Shen has truly raised a good disciple. He's become our cultivation world's tremendous fortune. Though he said, raised a good disciple, the tone was no different from the way he might say, married a good husband. When Shen Qingqiu heard this, his fanning began to carry a hint of murderous intent. Wu Wang looked like he was itching to beat these 2 degenerate creatures to death with his staff. If Benefactor Luo wishes to help us, there could be no better outcome, Master Wu said hastily. We request that sect leader Lue handle overall management of the situation. The sect had always silently recognized Yue Qingyuan as a capable pillar during times of crises, and now he automatically slipped into the task of formation and coordination. I request that Jiaohua Monastery have their remaining manpower set up a barrier and impede Maigu Ridge's descent. It must be prevented from making contact with the river surface. Master Wu Chen looked troubled. Of course we will do our best. However, the low river is vast, with great distance between the 2 banks. Without a place to stand, the foundation will be unstable, and it will be difficult to set up the arrays. Yue Qingyuan thought for a bit. What if our peak disciples support you with their swords? Could you set up the arrays in midair? No need to go through that much trouble, said Lo Bingha. He tilted his head without speaking, and Mo Beijun left the ranks by himself, walking to the riverbank. He stepped onto the water surface, but did not sink. He's Jesus? From where he stood, sturdily, ice rapidly spread outward. After a short time, a stretch of water had frozen into ice a meter thick, and that area expanded unceasingly, freezing the swimming fish in place. With only a bit longer, he would probably freeze the entirety of the low river's middle reaches rock solid. When it came to output, the demon race had a natural advantage. Gasps of surprise as well as expressions of displeasure rose around them. Wu Chen gave a continuous thanks, but Lo Bingha showed not a hint of arrogance. He only looked back at Shen Qingqiu, his eyes very bright. He's like, look at my guy, look at the guy I brought, look at how useful he is, and did I do a good job? Did I do a good job? Will you call me good boy again? Shen Qingqiu noted that he'd farmed quite a few righteous image points, and that the crowd's air of hostility and wariness was no longer as heavy. Satisfied, he couldn't help but say, well done. Oh my god, he's gonna nut! A smile bloomed on Lo Bingha's lips. Somehow, Shen Qingqiu's lips too curled upward. Stop! When he realized what his face was doing, he immediately tugged the corners of his lips down, managing to control his expression. Internally, he wondered, how come it isn't only tears that are infectious, but smiles too? Bro, it's giving, until I met you, I didn't realize how easy it was to be happy. Ah! His smiles are infectious. Bro is smiling! He smiled. Binghe was like, I came to help, and Shen Qingqiu was like, well done. And Binghe smiled, and Shen Qingqiu smiled back, and then was like, ah! That's really cute. That's super cute. And then he's like, when did smiling become infectious? That's so cute. Hey, JT Joyball. Oh my god, that's really cute. Next, Yue Qingyuan delegated tasks. Tianyi Temple would continue to spread out locations beyond the Low River, where more phenomena of the merge were starting to occur. There, they would protect and evacuate civilians. After them came Sangchong Mountain. After pondering for a while, Yue Qingyuan said, when the first wave of demons from the southern border breaks through, Baijian Peak will meet them. Only 40 people had come from Baijian Peak. Someone couldn't help but say, the southern border has a great variety of demonic beasts, each more powerful than the last. Can 40 people really hold off the first wave of the assault? Imagine doubting the battle ability of those battle fanatics. Liu Qingge stood with a foot on some rubble, his sword tassel, white sleeves, and black hair dancing wildly in the wind. He didn't answer them directly, only coldly addressed the disciples behind him. Those who don't kill at least 1,000 can go crawling to Anding Peak. Those 40 answered in unison, yes! Don't discriminate against Anding Peak, Shang Qinghua muttered feebly. Logistics above all, pride goeth before the fall. Yue Qingyuan continued to make arrangements. Chongding Peak, Shenshu Peak, Chenshao Peak, each had their own station and duties. Shen Qingqiu saw how carefree Lo Binghe seemed, and he couldn't help but ask, how many people did you bring? Not going to make assignments? The moment he opened his mouth, he felt countless ears pricking up, breath pausing as they eavesdropped attentively. Even the whispers in the crowd had quieted a fair amount. The lovely Taoist nun triplets nearby let out curious giggles. I brought everyone I could, said Lo Binghe. The assignments are easy. As he spoke, he pointed behind himself at Xia Hualing and Mo Beijun. Jiu Chang-jun is hers. The ugly beasts are his. So you're making the daughter backstab her father again? This was practically... Anything else? Shen Qingqiu asked. Lo Binghe nodded solemnly. Yes. His face spread into a smile. And Shizhen is mine. Stop. Stop. Shut up. That's cute. That's so cute. That's cute as fuck. Oh my god. That's so cute. I love how, like, honestly, this scene is so epic and cool. But there's so much, like, little cute romance sprinkled in here. Oh my god, I love that. Anything else? Shen Qingqiu asked. Lo Binghe nodded solemnly. Yes. His face spread into a smile. And Shizhen is mine. Cough sounded all around him, and Shen Qingqiu felt like his face was about to fall off from shame. Oh, he loves it. He closed his fan with a snap, holding it in hand as he adjusted his expression. This master has something to say to the former Anding Peak Lord, he said sternly. For now, go consult the sect leaders and discuss your plans for receiving the enemy. He fled right after, not bothering with anyone's response. He grabbed Shang Qinghua and, like lugging a dead pig, dragged him to a tree that was slightly out of the way. Why aren't you dead yet? Said Shen Qingqiu. You should have died 800 chapters ago. Why hasn't Mo Beijun snapped your neck? Shang Qinghua straightened his collar. Master Shen, you should have died before me, but you're still running around in perfect health. Can you really say anything? Shen Qingqiu rested his forehead on his hand and sucked in a deep breath. Towards the sky, bro. Great master airplane. Were you not held enough as a child or something? Huh? Huh? The original backstory for Shen Qingqiu that you mentioned was a sicko abusing him in his childhood? Do you really love writing miserable and tragic pasts that much? Tragic characters are more popular, said Shang Qinghua. Bullshit, he got 2 comment floods for yelling for his castration, and you're telling me that's being popular? Wasn't that because I axed the backstory? Shang Qinghua presented his logical counter-argument. Wasn't Binga tragic? Wasn't he popular? He still had the gall to use Lo Binghe as an example. Shen Qingqiu whacked him with the fan. Just how much do you like this trope? He thought of Lo Binghe kneeling miserable on the ground as he picked up the teacup of his small, frail body as he lugged heavy pails of water up and down the mountain stairs, of his huddled form at night, curled up in the woodshed's corner and shivering, arms around himself. When Shen Qingqiu thought of these things, his heart clenched, perturbed. He wouldn't feel better unless he beat someone up, and that someone had to be airplane shooting towards the sky. Shang Qinghua looked at his face and said in astonishment, Cucumber bro, what kind of expression is that? Don't tell me that you're distressed. I always thought you'd be the type to firmly stand your ground. Cucumber bro, I always thought that you were straight! Shen Qingqiu kicked him. I don't have time for your nonsense. Tell me, how are we supposed to beat Tianlin Zhen? Don't beat him, Shang Qinghua said, distressed. Don't you find him pitiful? Though, to tell the truth, I have no idea how to beat him because I never finished sorting out the details in the outline. If we don't beat him, you and I will be the pitiful ones. If you have no idea, think now. You are the one who created this world's logic. Your thoughts themselves are the outline. Oh my god. You know what? He didn't deny it. He finally didn't deny being gay. And that's great. That was so funny. That whole fucking interaction was hilarious. This is your dumb brain's reasoning. Can't you figure it out? He hadn't finished speaking when Lo Binghe's voice drifted over. Shizun, are you done? If you're about finished, it's time to leave. It hadn't even been 5 minutes. Shen Qingqiu quickly turned around. Leave? Both sect leader Yue and I think it's best for everyone to send 10 people to extract the sword. Will Shizun go? If Shizun goes, I'll go. I can, said Shen Qingqiu. After a pause, he pointed to Shang Qinghua. And bring him. Shang Qinghua's face paled in shock as he pleaded with his eyes. Cucumber bro, spare me! But Shen Qingqiu had already sauntered off. Lo Qingge and Baijian Peak were responsible for guarding the ice. Shen Qingqiu passed by him, then suddenly doubled back and said, only partly insincere, if he asks his disciples to kill 1,000, then Shidi must be a role model and kill 10,000 himself. Lo Qingge humphed, I'll kill all who dare come. Not concerned this time? Lo Qingge thought for a bit, then reluctantly said, Jiang Man Shisheng will be there. Lo Binghe tugged on a corner of Shen Qingqiu's clothes. Shizun, let me fly with you. Shen Qingqiu looked down at his waist. Don't you have a sword? Now that he was only dealing with Shen Qingqiu, Lo Binghe immediately dropped his badass darkened demon lord facade. He said bashfully, lately I've used so much demonic chi and not enough spiritual energy, so I've kind of forgotten how. The remaining 10 or so people all looked towards them. Shen Qingqiu didn't want to drag this out. Get on, he said recklessly. Their swords soared high into the sky, and the moment they entered Maigu Ridge, they descended, so Lo Binghe didn't get that much time to feel him up. They landed in a patch of jagged rubble. White rocks were densely packed into a forest, with the bones sprouting in the gaps. Looking up, eerie trees rose into the sky, pitch black in color, entwined and interlocked. I love how Binghe literally said, I forgot. An unknown monster's cackles mingled with the cawing of crows, the sound reverberating over the ridge. Before they could find Shinmo, they'd probably have to search the ridge for a while. Maigu Ridge has many Sorry, demonic creatures, Shen Qingqiu reminded everyone, so it would be best not to touch anything that looks alive. As a demon, and also because he needed to express how sincere he was about cooperating, Lo Binghe naturally situated himself at the forefront, and Shen Qingqiu walked with him side by side. Thank you for the bless yous. As the two of them walked and walked, Lo Binghe reached toward Shen Qingqiu and sneakily held his hand. Wu Wang let out a loud cough. Wu Chen chanted in Abhidhamma, and Yue Qingyuan's gaze serenely shifted to them. Shen Qingqiu's breathing faltered, his forehead, cheeks, neck, and ears flaming in unison. For some reason, he felt embarrassed and flustered, and he slowly drew his hand back. Aww. The moment Lobingha's hand went empty, his eyes immediately transformed into a snow-cloaked wasteland. He quickly laughed and said in a hushed voice, "What are you afraid of? They need my assistance, so they won't say anything." Shenjingqiu said quietly, "That's not the problem." Lobingha didn't relent. "Then what's the problem?" Shenjingqiu held up his fan. "Let's solve the problem before us first. Then we can talk later." Lobingha slowly backed off, then smiled. "All right," he said lightly. "After all, we'll have the time to talk later." Aww. Everyone in their group could sense that countless creatures lurked around them. Cork, thank you for your donation. Cork says, "Just wanted to say thank you so much for being so awesome and sweet. I've been having a really rough week, and you and this community are making me feel a lot better." Oh, I'm sorry you've been having a bad week. I wish I could give you a big hug. I'm glad that I can make you feel better. I hope that things will get better for you, and I'm just happy that this is a good place to chill and hang out. And, oh man, I'm really enjoying this story. I can't believe, like, Bingha took his hand and then Shizun, like, pulled it away and he was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And at least Shenjingqiu was like, "We'll talk about it later," and not just like, "Don't fucking touch me," you know? Like, we've really, I can't even think of the expression. Come a long way. He sneakily held his hand. Aww. Lobingha slowly backed off, then smiled. "All right," he said lightly. "After all, we'll have the time to talk later." Everyone in their group could sense that countless creatures lurked all around them, ready to pounce, hiding in the densely cluttered foliage and waist-high grass, as well as between the gaps in the stark white heaps of rubble. Jeweled green eyes and hissing breaths rose and fell like tiny ripples. At this time, the advantage of having Lobingha as a vanguard became fully apparent. Whichever direction he walked towards, the ill winds immediately ceased, becoming as silent as the grave. The creatures waiting in ambush either played dead en masse or fled in a panic, rustling as they went. To put it plainly, it was like they were avoiding the plague. With that kind of divine assistance, they reached their goal in far less time than they'd anticipated. If within some swirling white fog, a location that spewed black chi straight up into the sky suddenly appeared, look, anyone who wasn't blind would definitely find it strange. The mountain's cave entrance was covered in a dense cloak of green leaves, gloomy and forbidding. When standing by the entrance, there was a sense of chill. Everyone stopped in their tracks, hesitant. The original expectation had been that, before reaching this place, they would need to kill 800 enemy generals, slaughtered another 1,000 demonic creatures, and cut their way through all kinds of poisonous insects and alien plants. Only then would they painfully arrive at the final level. Even if it were to be less eventful, surely their clothes needed some blood on them to be worthy of a boss fight. "I'm afraid we cannot act recklessly," said a sect leader. "We should first investigate and ascertain the situation," another agreed. "But of course," said Lobingha. "But of course." He just finished speaking when Mobei-jun sent Shang Qinghua flying forward with a kick. And he really did go flying. Flying. Under Shang Qingqiu's shocked gaze, Shang Qinghua tumbled and skidded as he went flying into the hole to investigate and ascertain the situation. After a long, dead silence, a terrified scream suddenly exploded from within the cave. And that's the end of the chapter. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's so funny. We need someone to investigate and ascertain the situation. Yeet! Just fucking yeet Shang Qinghua into the hole. That's so funny. Airplane is shooting towards the sky. That's so funny. Oh my god. That is so good. Into the hole, you say? Okay, so is this the next chapter, the last chapter? Oh my god, it's so long. I don't know if we could do that in one sitting. Might have to break up the last chapter into 2 different readings. Rose City Kimono says, Chapter 21 has 3 illustrations, making the reading pages 69. You'll want to think about planning for a longer stream for the last chapter. Okay, okay. Reading the last chapter. Oh, man! Does anybody that knows the last chapter well, is there like a good breaking point? Or is it the kind of thing where it's like, I really gotta read it all in one go? Oh, literally CSZL. You fucking killed that. Thank you. That's perfect. 69. Giggity. I can't believe everything after that is extras. This is the side couple, huh? How romantic. Drop kicking his partner in the hole. Whole book of extras. Oh my god, I'm excited. I can't believe I'm gonna know the whole story of Scum Villain so quickly. I must say, I feel like it gets a lot better in the latter chapters. A few of the earlier chapters I feel like kind of drag on a little bit, like with the dream thing. But all long books have moments that drag, I suppose. You get to see Lo Chingo's moment with Shen Qingzhou. Woo! It's all build up for this good payoff. Yes. I'm very excited. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys for coming to hang out with me and read this chapter. Super Natastic says, next chapter is so peak. I really liked this chapter. This is probably my favorite chapter. I loved the, like, those beasts are Moby Johns and those guys are Shaolings and Shizen is mine. So fucking... And then Shizen won't hold his hand, though. Aw, that made me upset. What meat bun book are you gonna read first on stream? Ooh. Reread Arha, but I could have a bleep button. Stitch just sits next to me, and when we get to something you have to bleep, she just presses the button and the screen gets censored. I know, he's just embarrassed, I know. He's like, there's homophobic people in front of us, bro. And then Bing, he's like, we'll talk about it later. And Bing is like, okay, yeah. I'm gonna have you all to myself later, and we'll have all the time in the world later, so it's no problem, actually. Annika says, thanks for another great stream. I've been working on my Shen Qingzhou cosplay during these streams, and I get to wear it this weekend. Oh, that's awesome. That is so sick. I hope you have tons of fun cosplaying him. Wei Wuxian's wig, that's fantastic news. Oh my gosh, I'm really glad to hear that. Oh my goodness, thank you for sharing such incredible news with us, Wei Wuxian's wig. That is amazing. Oh my goodness, Wei Wuxian's wig. Just me, thank you for your donation. Hey Kictor, it's important to me that you know, Luo Mingyan eating melon seeds earlier. That grabs melon seeds is the Chinese version of grabs popcorn. Okay, yes. I thought like eating melon seeds was had something to do with like enjoying gossip or drama or something. So yeah, grabs melon seeds. That's funny. Oh, I love seeing everybody support Wei Wuxian's wig in the chat. It really makes me happy that this community, when someone shares something, like even if it's something exciting or something like they had a bad day or whatever, that I see people jumping in and mentioning to each other that they're wishing them well. Wei Wuxian's wig says, we shall have Hua Cheng's luck, yes! Dear Z, thank you so much for your donation. If the next chapter is what I think it is, then it's going to be quite the ride. Oh, brother. Yeah, I literally have no idea what happens next. Thank you for your donation as well. We can test the censor button next chapter. Oh! Yeah, I don't want any spoilers for the next chapter. I have no idea what happens. I won't be able to stream tomorrow. Oh my goodness, I feel like something's happening Thursday, but I can't remember. Oh, I could maybe do Thursday. I could maybe do Thursday, and I think I could also probably do this weekend. But I will try and make a post about it. But I'm very excited. Oh my goodness, it's so much fun reading. I have such a good time reading. It is the highlight of my day. It's just so much fun. Wei Wuxian's Wig says, thank you, my family has been celebrating. Oh, fuck yeah, well, we're celebrating too, man. That's awesome. Stitch has read Scum Villain, yep. Maybe there is like a link somewhere with like all the trigger warnings for Scum Villain that I could like link to, so that I'm just like, this sounds awful, but I don't want to get spoiled by what the trigger is, but I would want people that don't want to be triggered to be able to see the list, I suppose. So I could do something like that. My tummy is a rumbling. Orion says, I love Scum streams too. It's so fun to see someone experience something I love for the first time. Aw, that's awesome. Guy says, we need our Stitch. I mean, it's been a while. I wonder if she'd remember. She's read so much Danmei at this point. She's like, what do you need to, you know, put the warning for at this point? Are you gonna keep streaming until 7? I think I'm gonna probably head out and make some dinner early, because I got hockey tonight, so it worked out perfectly. Oh, Wei Wuxian's Wig says, holy crap, my face is so red. Thank you so much for the support. Of course, dude! Absolutely, that is incredible news, and we're here for you, and we're here to help celebrate you. Alright, everybody, I had a fantastic day today. I hope you had a good day. I hope Effie had the best birthday. And I hope if you did not have a good day today, that you know that we're here for you. This community is here for you, that this is a place to hang out on good days and bad days. And I'm just hoping to always bring good vibes, good happy vibes. And yeah, I love you guys. And I will see you next time. Bye.